So we have some interesting, two local examples, one sort of national media example. Maybe tell us a little bit about how Levi's uses, Facebook seems to have been a very successful channel for you, but just give us a sense of what are the different social media channels that you're utilizing and what's been most effective for you.
Well, we're definitely focusing on Facebook. We're fishing where the fish are. Our target audience is that 18 to 34-year-old that is using Facebook on a very regular basis. We have a couple of Twitter handles, but they're more about influencing influencers versus sort of mass marketing. And then our PR team is in charge of blogger outreach, etc. And then on Facebook, our strategy really is trying to create and empower our brand ambassadors to tell their stories about how much they love Levi's. And that is articulated both through our Facebook page and what we allow them to do there, but also the social plugin that we put on Levi.com as well.
Explain how that works.
So it's the like functionality, so you just instantly put it on every single product on our site, and so people can come like the product, it gets shared in their news feed, and then they can tell all their friends that they like that product as well.
And then that shows up in the Facebook Levi's fan page?
No, it shows up in your personal news feed, so your friends see it, and then we also created what's called the Friends Store, which is suspiciously like the Amazon store that just launched, except we launched in April. Which is that you can shop with your friends via Facebook Connect, and it basically shows me what my friends have already liked on Levi.com, and it'll show birthdays and different activities that your friends have, so that you can potentially find products.
Is there chat involved too, or is it asynchronous?
It is asynchronous, no chat.
So that's on the Levi's site itself?
It's on Levi.com, yes.
So can you give us any stats on, how many likes a month or a day are people liking the new products?
We're up to approximately about 50,000, and we have, I don't know, at any given time we probably have 500 SKUs. So
50,000 likes or fans?
Oh, likes on our Levi.com. And the best part about the technology is that, I don't know, the best and worst, I guess, is that it's completely transparent. So anyone can go on the site today and find out how many people are liking a particular product or not liking a particular product. And then on our Facebook page, we have about 520,000 fans.
520,000,
yeah.
Wow. And do you have any sense of to what extent this is driving sales? Is there any way to track, promotion that you do on Facebook?
We can track some sales. We are looking at both what happens when we put different offers in the newsfeed itself, and what happens in terms of our traffic and sales in terms of the hours that we post it.
Right.
We also are looking at, of the products that are liked, are the likes affecting sales? And are they? They are definitely driving a new customer base to our site, and right now we are. We think the sales are going to be more long-term because we're creating brand ambassadors.
Okay. So, Dan, are you a LinkedIn?
I am. Okay. That's my day job. But.
Right. Okay. So you and you have 3 co-founders.
That's right.
And one of the other co-founders is also a LinkedIn employee. So you're very kind of conversant with sort of some of these back-end technologies. So tell us a little bit about, what are the different social media promotion that you guys have tried out? What's worked? What hasn't worked?
Yeah, I think so I think Yelp is kind of table stakes for us. It's kind of new Yellow Pages, and everyone, when they're going to try out a restaurant, wants to see what it's rated on Yelp. Yelp was a very good mechanism of us communicating with our early customers, trying to make the tweaks that those guys suggested in our product, which is the food. And so I think that was a really good segue into us getting kind of used to some of the channels open for SMB folks like ourselves. We've since used Groupon very successfully. We sold nearly 2,600 Groupons, about half of which has been redeemed so far. Contrary to, I think, what Michael Arrington said, I don't want break rage. I want folks to try out a restaurant. We've been in business for 8-9 months. Would love them to try it out and come back.
And how many people can you sit at once?
Have used it at once?
what's your seating capacity?
Our seating capacity is 56, and then we have a patio that sits about 12 more. So not a huge restaurant. In the early days, we saw about 50 or so Groupons getting redeemed.
So Groupon has filled your restaurant at more than 50 times.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a very effective channel of getting folks in, and also there's a social proof concept. So on the weekends or on dinner time, when there's people in your restaurant, more people start to flock.
And you did that once, or you've done it multiple times?
We've only done it once. Very interested to see this new personalization and what that effects will have on the merchant side. I think very good for the consumers. Would love to see a lot more kind of merchant analytics, the ability to go back to very specific types of customers that we know and trace the flow from who's redeemed Groupons to who are likely folks and this could just be zip code based, right?
And what was the specific deal that you got?
So it was $35 worth of food for 15 bucks.
So half off.
Yeah, a little bit more than half off, so 50.
And then what percentage do you have to pay Groupon?
So I think Groupon, it's pretty standard. It's 50%.
50.
50% of what the consumer pays you.
So you ended up getting $7.50 for $35 worth of food.
That's right.
So did you make any money on those?
So no, the economics is, in the food industry are tight as is. One of the interesting things that we saw was that in the early days, people wouldn't have redeemed that much beyond kind of the $35. What we're seeing more these days when we're redeeming about 5 or 10 Groupons is that people spend around 15% more than their checks. So we are seeing some kind of break-even-ish type points for us. But I think for us, we've seen sales go up 60%. So at a profitability level, we're kind of at a break-even stance with Groupon. But in terms of our sales and that level of sales maintaining, we've seen great results.
So that was really a way to get people into the restaurant to try it.
Yep.
And then, do you have any sense of how many of those returned?
So that's hard for us to tell. Yeah, and I think with being hyper-local, if I can target folks in 94111, that for me would be a high correlation to somebody that's willing to repeat just because they're close by.
Have you used LinkedIn at all?
We have used LinkedIn, given that we're LinkedIn employees. So we've done 2 channels on LinkedIn, which I thought were kind of interesting. One, we use our direct ads platform, so similar to Facebook ads, but largely targeting kind of executive assistants and the ability to try to target them for catering. And we've also used LinkedIn to network up into folks who are office managers or executive assistants in the Embarcadero centers. And we're seeing some early successes of that. Certainly finding a name is very important, so that's half the battle. And then the conversion rates, it's to be determined.
And you see your catering business go up, right?
Yeah, catering is
that,
catering is just so our restaurant is at near profitability right now, but I think we need that catering to get us over the edge. And so that's really important from a strategic standpoint for us now to drive this business. The folks that we want to get in the restaurant first are executive admins, office managers. We'll give them kind of a free sample of some of the tastings of our food, and hopefully they'll order on the catering menu when the time comes.
Have you tried any Foursquare promotions?
So I just been Tristan backstage. We have been trying to contact them, but got his card. So I'm very hopeful about that. Again, hyper local. I think it's very interesting. Definitely want to target those folks that have some regularity at Stone.
Well, now he's got it.
Absolutely.
So just raise your hand. There's 3 of you have tried Groupon? Okay. And how many of you are on Twitter? All of your Twitter, Facebook? Yelp?
I mean, we are just a listing on Yelp.
Or listing?
Like, we're not proactively going out to Yelp, but you just come up because your store in San Francisco.
Oh, the store, right, okay. I got you. Okay, so, is there, I guess there's like 3 local guys and two national brands or businesses here.
Actually,
Are you local or are you national?
Right, I'm actually neither. I'm oddly both because in individual cities I have to book the Central Cinema in Seattle, I have to book the Roseway in Portland, the Roxy in San Francisco, which is city by city.
And Levi's has stores everywhere.
Right, Levi's is everywhere, as is Disney Pixar is everywhere. But as an independent film that goes city by city, I'm an odd sort of mesoscale company because I have to exist between a particular Twitter food truck around San Francisco. I need to be in every city, I have to do one at a time. So I sort of actually straddle both those things.